Hello everyone. This is just a quick video to show you the 2 plants we got a few weeks ago at one of our local orchid shows. We weren't even planning on getting anything at this show, and this video is probably going to go up after Christmas. But right now we're going to be traveling for Christmas in a few days, and in January we're officially going to start moving houses. So the orchids are going to be extra neglected probably until February. So this was definitely not the time to be bringing in any plants that demand extra attention. And my favorite thing to do at orchid shows is to go through the rows of the nurseries and discover new types of orchids, do a quick research on them on my phone, and then expand my orchid growing horizons. So I knew that even going to the show was going to be a bit risky. I tried to keep in mind that I wasn't going to bring anything, and then ended up compromising with myself that I wouldn't bring anything that would require any research or extra attention. Before we get to talking about these 2 orchids, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We try to post every week. And if you want to support us further, we also have a super thanks option open on the channel where you can leave us a tip. So let's explain why I couldn't resist these 2 plants. First, we have the cattleya yellowbird. And you might be thinking, that's such a common hybrid, why was that so tempting? And the thing is, I always wanted one. And because it is so well known, I was always surprised that the few times I found it for sale here, it was on the more expensive side of things. And if you haven't noticed by now, by watching these videos we make, I always try to be smart in how I spend my orchid money. Not only so, I don't bankrupt myself, but more so I don't feel terrible later if the plant ends up dying. So in cases like this, I always think I'll wait until I find it cheaper or discounted. It's a well-known orchid, it's not going to go away. This thinking has bit me in the ass before, but I still try to bargain shop my orchids as much as I can. All of this to say that this new seller we have here in our country had the yellowbird in this show, and it was at a really good price. They had a bigger one at €18 and these small ones for 10. And like I mentioned in a recent video, I'm at a point in my collection where I really don't mind buying some younger plants and waiting for them to grow. So I picked the smaller yellowbird. I'm not sure if it's just a smaller division or if the plant is indeed younger, but either way I'm fine with it. It looks really healthy and nice, and it is a cattleya, so I'm not worried at all about it doing well by itself for the next 2 months while we travel and move house. And by itself, of course, I mean I'll still water it, but I won't be able to baby it as much as I usually do any newcomers. If you don't know this hybrid, it has really pretty yellow flowers with a classic brassavola shape, with a particularity of changing colors a bit as the flower ages. It goes from a blushy peach to yellow. This is a cross between brassavola nodosa and the cattleya Richard Muller, which is a hybrid of the nodosa again with cattleya Mulleri. The Mulleri is a former Sophronitis, but I don't see much of this in the flower shape or the plant itself. Maybe it's a bit smaller than the other brassavola hybrids, but that's about it. I thought having some Sophronitis in it, it would want maybe some cooler temperatures than other cattleyas, but from what I can see online, everyone treats it like an average brassavola hybrid, and it seems to be really forgiving in its care. Still, I'm thinking of playing it safe and waiting to repot it until things calm down here. I'll keep it separated from the rest of the collection just to make sure pest-wise, but the substrate it's in seems fine, and I'd rather do it later in the season when I have more time to baby it after. The next orchid we got is in fact a new type in our collection. You know, the thing I just said I wasn't gonna do. But once I saw it's also called an encyclia, I decided it would probably be easy to care for, and I decided to take the risk in buying it either way. I had never seen this orchid for sale before, and that's mainly why I decided to get it. I didn't want to pass up the opportunity, keep this plant in mind, and then take years to see it for sale again. I loved how tiny it is, and the flowers seem to be very big in comparison to the plant. It kind of looks like a bulbophyllum a bit to me, but the flowers definitely show that it's related to encyclia. I worried a little bit that the pseudobulbs were a little too yellow, but the plant looked otherwise healthy, and some orchids do get like that when they get too much light. Other than that, I love the bushy look this plant gets. I have a few other miniatures that look like this, and I just love the fuzzy pot look. And from what I can tell from photos online, they get really dense in the pot. This is yet another miniature that the care online is described as needing to be almost constantly moist, but then at the same time have aerated and well-draining medium. And I always complain when that's the care guide that we're given. I did find some people saying that they had success with bark and sphagnum. And that's what I have most of my orchids in, so that works out perfect actually. I would leave it alone like I'm going to do with a yellowbird, but I don't like that it's in such a loose substrate, especially with us being away for a few weeks now for the holidays. So I'm either going to attempt a full repot, or if I see that I'm disturbing the roots too much, I'm just going to at least add some sphagnum in there. And yeah, looking at it, I think I would disturb the roots too much. There are roots that are even sticking to the plastic pot there. It would still be an easy repot, but I'd rather do it when we return after the holidays. So I'm just sticking some sphagnum in there. I'll see how fast it dries in the next few days before we leave, and worst case scenario, I'll also add a temporary wick. And that's pretty much it. I know it was an eventful and short video, but we really wanted to introduce these two plants to you. And we're really excited to have them, as much as the orchid collection has kind of been taken to the back burner while we're busy with moving and everything. But hopefully in 2025 we can film moving the plants and settling them in their new space, and then getting back to the hobby in full force. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to leave us a like if you did, and a super thanks tip if you feel so inclined. And come back next week for another video. Goodbye.